Okay, so I went to see Wheatus at the Mill in Digbeth, and they had two support acts as well, which I'll go into in a bit. But yeah, they had a very interesting and unique sort of style to how they did their performance in a few different ways, which I'm going to go into. But it was a good night and a fun night, and they had a lot of cool music going on. And what I want to start with is how the stage was set up, which is maybe low way forward with some sort of bands, because I know that the drummer is the lead of the band, essentially, ties it all together, and a lot of them look to the drummer to start the music and keep them in tune in the rhythm, and half the time they're really hidden at the back, and I know you can't put them right front and centre, because that's where the front man wants to go and all of that, so they had them front and off to the right, which with a lot of light, so it's the most visible any drummer has ever been in any performance ever. So that, I think that was a good place to keep the drummer, so it's very visible. Now it did lead to some of the bands always looking at the drummer for direction, and maybe not looking out into the audience as much, especially with the first band. They did that a lot. It's a lot of looking towards the drummer, but hey, that's just something going on there. But I thought it was a fun and interesting way of doing it. Anyway, the few different support bands were... Okay, I'm hoping that this information is still correct, because Gabrielle, Stir Bands and Lazy Danger, I'm guessing that's one band altogether. Obviously I didn't really know who they were, but, they were a female group. There were four of them, all from all sorts of different places, and they had some music. They did a cover of a song, I can't remember what exactly it was, but that was probably the best and most interesting song that they did. Unfortunately, it's not that they couldn't perform, it's just that, I don't know, that it just felt like some of the songs didn't really have a proper ending. To me, musically, I don't know, not that I'm an expert, but I don't know, it just felt like they ended, and, it just didn't feel like they had the oomph and, the rise up and the go down, and I don't know, it just, something felt lacking with it, but that's just me. And then they also did a lot of the, sorry, my nose is itchy, setup and dismantling between all of the sets as well, so it felt like their band was invited along, if they were also the groupies that set up the stage and made sure that everything was ready for everyone. And then when it came to Wheatus coming on stage again, the lead singer Gabrielle and also Isabel or something, one of the guitarists from the band, also sang along with Wheatus in the backing songs, and even sang one of the songs entirely. So, that just felt like if you do all of the setup and all of this, well, you sing along with us and play with us on stage and be with us on stage. And you could tell that the middle girl was very interested in the guitarist on the left, with his big beard and big hair. She was definitely giving him the eyes and, trying to get his attention at times. So, I don't know, that's just me finding that entertaining, that she's subtly trying to flirt with him. It's he's not even noticing. But I just spot these things and find it entertaining, I don't know why. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting way of doing it, and that's not the only interesting thing that they did about it. I will go on to Wheatus a bit later, because obviously there was the Frank Hamilton guy that came on second, and he did the, let's just say, the Zoomer sort of music creation style, and it's he's done it all himself with loops and rhythm sections, and he does the drums, he puts them on loop. I know he's not the only person that does this, because I've seen the Ting Tings do this, I've seen, god damn it, what's her name again, the one who went out with Elon Musk, god damn it, it's on the tip of my tongue, but she does loops as well, and she does them really well. But he also did like the loops, but you know, he just sets up the drums on loops and then maybe the odd bit of guitar section on loops and plays along with the guitar himself and does the singing, whereas she does like wild and crazy things with the loops. And god damn it, if I remember her name, I'm gonna probably look on Twitter because I do have her on there somewhere. Sorry for this one moment where I'm really, really awkwardly looking up someone's name because it's gonna... Grimes! It was just gonna bug me the entire video if I didn't look it up. Yeah, Grimes, he also does loops, and also like Gassy Mexican, when he makes music on his YouTube stuff and Twitch streams, he also does loops as well, so... You know, it's like, it's the modern thing to do. But he was like a one-man band on his own, doing the loops and setting them up for his songs. And, you know, he did his own sort of style with that. And, you know, he also went out on stage, not on stage, off the stage, into the audience, and did a bit of singing in the audience as well. So, you know, that's his own sort of thing. And, you know, he did some interesting music. It's just like, you know, when you're on your own, there's only so much you can do, especially if you're doing these like light loops, because he didn't really do like heavy sort of stuff. He just had the same stuff going on cycle. He didn't have like 3 different loops that he would, you know, twist around and swap around to have the drum section change up and stuff like that, which, you know, other loop singers, I'm just going to call them loop singers now, I guess, do with some of their stuff. So, you know, that might be something that he could develop in the future. But either way, you know, he still had good music and a good tune, and, you know, he wound it up with knowing when the songs are sort of ending, and, you know, it didn't just feel like they were just dropping off and ending, which, yeah, that's just a bit of constructive criticism for the first band, maybe. That, you know, it didn't feel like their songs were actually coming to an end. It just felt like they were just dropped, like they didn't know how to end them. And I know that there's a lot of 90s sort of songs that did that, where they'd just fade the song out and, you know, things like that, because they hadn't established a way to end the song. You know, it's like, it just feels like it drops off. So, you know, even if they do that, they could maybe just sort of, you know, go down quieter and phase it out or something. You know, that might work. Anyway, on to Wheatus. When they did their sets, I wasn't expecting them to do what they did, which was the wildest thing anyone has ever done in a set. Because normally you've got a set list and they play through the set list, they play the music that they've got on the set list, sometimes maybe changing it up. You know, like the first band actually didn't stick to their set list, they played songs that weren't on their set list and, you know, did different things like that. But Wheatus had absolutely no set list. They played whatever the audience wanted to shout out at them, and ironically, no one shouted out Teenage Dirtbag. It's like they knew that was going to be held for the last one. But I forgot they did a cover of A Little Respect, actually. So, you know, that was actually something that I knew. I know I don't know a lot of their songs, but, you know, so I wasn't joining in the shouting out. And, you know, maybe there was someone who was literally a ringer for them to shout out the songs, but they did, you know, pretty much play exactly what was shouted out to them, and, you know, whatever was shouted out the loudest and whatever I heard is what they did end up playing. Now, towards the end they did start playing some of the songs that they wanted to play, like he asked the guitarist what he wanted to play, although he kept putting it off and being like, no, we'll do something else instead. And it seemed like they were having an argument, like he was getting a bit pissed off with the song that he wanted not actually getting played when they asked him to, you know, what do you want us to play, guitarist? And it's like, no, we're going to do this instead. And, you know, and he even did the joke of the front man, oh, I'm just the guy that they found who looked the most like the lead singer of Wheatus, because obviously he's getting old now, and, you know, you have to respect that people age and look different with their age. But yeah, it was a fun set and, you know, a fun way of doing it, so it was interesting. But it did mean that they did run late, and I had to run for my train. And still didn't catch it. But that's beside the point. I'll go into that in a bit. Anyway, that's nothing to do with Wheatus playing. They did an entertaining set. They were really good. You know, the music was good to dance to and listen to, and, you know, it was pretty good. And, you know, with the harmonics, and the girls from the first band, they had really good harmonics. At times with the third girl that they had for Wheatus alone, which wasn't in their band, so it was three of them singing. They had the Sugar Babe sort of harmonic style, you know, with the harmonic tones, and I think that sounded pretty good. You know, I like that sort of harmonisation. And with the backing tune and going along with Wheatus, that was pretty good. And, you know, it sounded all really good, and I had a good night. So I definitely recommend going to see the Wheatus tour, as it is still going on elsewhere in the country. Obviously I can only comment on it when it comes around Birmingham. So, you know, it's not like I can get the first location and get it out for the first of the first and go see the sets as it tours near you with my radio sort of voice, which I wasn't intended to do initially, but then it started to turn, so I was like, okay, well, just go with it. But yeah, after the set, because they ran late, I didn't wait to see if there were any encores, because they just kept going, and I waited for the end of Teenage Dirtbag, and they did delay it, you know, delay the end and hold the end and keep it going, so that it ran even later. And so, even though I ran for the train, and I made it there 1 minute before the train was due to depart, and the train was still there on the station, London Midlands, locking their trains early and not letting me on, even though they could see that I was there and knew that I was there, and the driver could see that I was asking to get on. They were just like, no, tough shit. Then they drove off 1.5 minutes later than that, so, you know, there's a whole 1.5 minutes. They departed late, and they did not open the doors to let me on, even though it was still a minute before final departure, and it was the last train home. So, you know, luckily I know that Birmingham buses let you use your train ticket to get on them for free if you miss your train. Well, I mean, it's if your train is cancelled, essentially. It's not if you miss your train. It's just for if your train is cancelled. So, you know, you can't really take the piss and do that every single time. Like, you know, if you're working a job and, you know, you're catching the bus every single night, that's the late bus. You can't really do that. That takes the piss completely. But the odd occasion when, you know, you might miss the train because the train's actually fucked you over and I didn't need to run. I could have just walked and got the last bus. But yeah, that's just a complaint on London Midlands. And, you know, not everyone knows that you can use your train ticket to do that because it's cheaper than the bus ticket. But, you know, it's only intended for if the train is cancelled. But if you miss your last train home, then you're not taking the piss entirely, and, you know, you've got a way to get home. But if there wasn't buses like that, then imagine if I had to go, like, to the full end of the situation. That would have just completely took the piss, and, like, no. You know, you were departing early. There was no reason you should have done that. London Midlands, and even, you know, Birmingham station. And then I asked the guy that was on the thing where was the customer service desk to complain, and he was just, oh yeah, up there. And it's like, well, no one was manning the customer service desk at that point, so I couldn't even put a complaint in. So it's like, dickheads. just the wrong way to do it, you know. It's like you should have, you know, maybe pointed me to the website or something, because there's no way that I was getting my complaint then. But yeah, definitely recommend going to see Wheatus. It's a fun show, and there wasn't long between the sets. Honestly, they just did the setup, the next band came on, they did the setup, then Wheatus came on and pretty much got down with it straight away. And they played a heck of a lot of songs. They played probably almost 2 hours. I don't know, it was at least 1.5 hours, if not longer. I'd say that they were on stage playing just whatever songs were shouted at them, just going non-stop. And the lead singer of Wheatus did also get out with his guitar in amongst the audience and play, you know, in front of everyone and dance with pretty much everyone across the entirety of the audience who wanted to dance along with him. I know I chose to just sit there rather than go up dance, but he did, you know, go right around and down, so across the back and across the front, and make sure that everyone who wanted to could dance with him as he danced around in a circle to make sure that he, you know, sort of involved everyone in it. So that was a fun way of doing it as well. So he's definitely a showman. And, you know, I'd definitely recommend going to see Wheatus if you get the chance. It's good music, good times, and you'll have a good night. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Join me again some more. Goodbye.